Canada was ready to celebrate a huge moment, and everything seemed set to begin. The bridge was built, approved, and waiting. But then something unexpected happened. At the last moment, the opening was stopped, and no one knows when it will finally happen. In June 2026, one day before a scheduled ribbon-cutting ceremony, that invitations had already been sent out for the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, posted a notice online announcing that the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge had been postponed indefinitely. At the request of the United States, we agreed to delay the opening and take the necessary time to resolve outstanding issues, a few issues that have been raised, Carney said at an unrelated news conference in Toronto. The $6.4 billion bridge connecting Windsor and Detroit, built with Canadian money, constructed with both Canadian and American workers, cleared of all technical approvals, and staffed by customs officers on both sides, does not have an opening date. The reason that emerged over the following 24 hours is specific and documented. The U.S. industry source said the American government slammed the brakes on the opening because Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and Pete Hoekstra.
Welcome back to another reaction
Failure.
So we are watching a video on why the Gordie Howe Bridge was suspended by no other than Donald Trump himself.
Okay.
Yeah, technically the U.S. administration. So yeah, let's find out.
I can remember when we posted one video like that, some people came in the comment section and they were like, the bridge will be open on the 12th
Of June.
Yeah, of June 2026.
Yeah.
Just for the 12th to come and pass, then
The bridge is now open.
Yeah, the bridge was not open. Then they were like, the bridge was stopped, and I'm like, why? So here, we're like about to find out. So.
The U.S. opened the route. You know, remember the famous statement by Ronald Reagan back in the 80s, and he said, Gorbachev, tear down this wall. So I'm saying Donald Trump, open up that bridge.
You know.
Source said the American government slammed the brakes on the opening because Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and Pete Hoekstra, Washington's ambassador to Canada, want to first negotiate a deal to help Michigan's Moran family, the billionaire owners of the existing Ambassador Bridge, mitigate their losses from competition by the new publicly owned bridge. That sentence describes the core of the delay in plain terms. A publicly financed, by nationally owned infrastructure project cannot open because two American officials want to conclude a private commercial arrangement protecting the financial interests of a competing privately owned bridge before the publicly owned one begins.
That is crazy. A publicly owned bridge is suspended because of a privately owned bridge financial interest. The government owns something. The government is suspending because of a private individual's business. On bridge. In my country, first of all, you as a private individual, you can't own a bridge. Yeah, you can own a bridge as a private individual. Hell no. Nobody pays tolls here. The government constructs the bridges. I'm not endorsing my government here. I'm just saying, yeah. This is one of those things that comes with dictatorship too, right? You don't own a bridge. As a private individual, why would they be suspending a bridge because they will need to discuss mitigating your financial losses for your own bridge? Who cares?
Like, really?
Who cares about your business interests?
It's your private something, so why would they have to stop it?
The government is always interested in supplying the public with the cheapest, most available and effective, efficient services and goods. So if there's a bridge the government is building in order to reduce the cost on the citizens, somebody's financial losses on their own business, who cares? Because they are exploiting the citizens. These people are billionaires. Right? They own millions and billions. And they spend every single time thinking on how to get money from the poor people. Well, I don't want to say everything that I think.
You have a lot.
Some of my opinions are left
You would have said a lot.
are better left unsaid.
You would have said
Protecting
a
the
lot.
financial interests of a competing privately owned bridge before the publicly owned one begins operating. The Ambassador Bridge opened in 1929. It is 97 years old. It is privately owned by the Maroon family, Matthew Maroon, who gradually took over as head of the family before his father, Manuel Maroon's death in 2020. Manuel Maroon purchased the Ambassador Bridge in 1979 and built one of the most litigious private infrastructure companies in North American history around it. The Maroon family spent years and significant legal resources fighting the Gordie Howe project specifically because they understood what it would do to their business model. The Ambassador Bridge currently charges commercial trucks between $20 and $28 per axle, approximately $100 to $140 per crossing. The Gordie Howe Bridge's commercial toll rate is approximately $12 per axle. When the Gordie Howe opens, commercial truckers have an immediate financial incentive to use it instead. The Ambassador loses volume. The toll revenue declines. The timeline connecting the Maroon family's political activity to the Trump administration's intervention on the bridge is on the public record. Matthew Maroon donated $1 million to a MAGA Inc. political action committee. Campaign finance disclosures confirmed the donation. The New York Times reported that Maroon then met with Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick in Washington. That same day, Lutnick called Trump.
This same Lutnick that claimed that he never went to Epstein's Island and then he was found to have gone there with his wife and kids. And bro was like, nah, we just went there to
Take a walk.
Yeah, we just show out. Lying politicians. I'm not taking him at him because he's a US person or whatever. I do not like politicians. Let's start from there. All of them are liars. Even
a politician,
yeah.
It's like you have to lie.
Even your favorite politician in Canada lies a lot just to get your vote and get your sympathy. Makes you feel like you are understood when absolutely not. You are not understood.
Mad.
No politician tells the truth. They act very familiar.
Familiar with the things.
Yeah, they look to relate to you. They always find that chord, that striking line where they you feel like you are this person is relatable.
Like you really feel what I feel.
Yeah, they
Can
feel
you really
you.
see what I see?
And when they go into office, they say, "Yeah, I've been elected." And then they get a call. Yeah, I've been elected. Yup. Never gonna do what I told them I'm gonna do. I'm going to strictly look after my family and my children, get my financial, increase my bank account so when I go, my children are going to live back and eat. That's all the politicians. So Lutnick is not less, he's more despicable than you think.
Lutnick called Trump. Hours after that sequenced donation, meeting, phone call, Trump posted on Truth Social that the United States would need to be compensated before he would allow Gordie Howe.
For what?
Trump himself had endorsed the bridge project during his first term and described it as an example of binational cooperation. The post-donation sequence produced a different characterization. House Democrats in Washington have formally opened an inquiry into whether members of the Maroon family acted to obstruct the new bridge's opening. The June 11th cancellation of the Friday ribbon cutting produced its own internal chaos. The Associated Press reported that the bridge opening was moving forward after conversations between Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, a Democrat, and Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles. Whitmer believed she had White House sign-off. Invitations went out, but Lutnick, who learned of the planned ribbon cutting on Monday night while attending a New York Knicks game with Trump at Madison Square Garden, was caught off guard by the news. Lots of people objected because they were caught off guard, Hoekstra told the Detroit News on Thursday. The left hand and the right hand of the same administration were operating on different information, and the result was a ribbon cutting that was planned, announced, and canceled within 72 hours. Carney was careful to distinguish the bridge delay from the CUSMA negotiations proceeding toward the July 1st.
This is really so bad. Like, people are planning something and then you get up and cancel it within 72 hours.
The corruption is very blatant and obvious. And Donald Trump, that it's very easy to sway Donald Trump. His opinion is that of the latest person that spoke to him. Right? If Donald Trump said, if he said this is red, yes, to Donald Trump is red until another person comes along and says it's white. I am not insulting the intelligence of the US president, however, but he's given a straight record of just literally someone calling him and then saying something and he just literally takes that one. Say, for example, is that the US had agreed to send Patriot missiles to Ukraine, and Putin called Donald Trump to say, nope, we don't give them the Patriot missiles because that would be bad between the relationship between Russia and the US. And Donald Trump like, yep, not giving more Patriot to Ukraine. Putin told me not to give him. And before that, he had discussed with Zelensky and he agreed to give the Patriots to Ukraine because he had discussed with Zelensky. And then Putin came along, discussed with him, and he said, yeah, not giving nothing to Ukraine.
So what now happened to your first conversation?
No, it doesn't, like, it didn't pass, like, almost like AI conversation. When you start a new chat. When
You want to say they have jumped to the
yeah.
end?
So yeah, I was starting a new chat with a new conversation. Yeah. I don't know. It's not very good.
Deadline. He stated explicitly that the issues raised around the bridge are separate from the trade discussions. He did not specify what the outstanding issues are. He confirmed Canada agreed to the delay at American request, and he repeated that there's not great drama here. His restraint in the public characterization of the delay is consistent with a government that has decided not to escalate publicly over a situation it cannot resolve through public pressure. Canada built the bridge. Canada paid for it. Canada's Crown Corporation has all the technical approvals, but without American authorization, the bridge cannot open to traffic. Michigan House Speaker Matt Hall, a Republican ally of Trump, suggested in Lansing on Thursday that the holdup relates to U.S. officials attempting to accelerate their share of toll revenues beyond the timeline specified in the POTUS's 2012 agreement with Canada. Under that agreement, Canada collects all toll revenue until its $6.4 billion construction investment is fully recouped, after which revenue splits equally with Michigan. Hall contended that rising bridge costs and declining border traffic projections mean Michigan may never reach the revenue sharing stage, and that American officials want to renegotiate those terms before the bridge opens, rather than after. The 2012 agreement was signed by then Michigan Governor Rick Snyder, a Republican, and then Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper. The Canadian federal government agreed to pay the full construction cost after the Michigan legislature refused to contribute, due specifically to lobbying pressure from the Maroon family. Michigan received joint ownership of a $6.4 billion structure, direct highway connections funded by Canada, new customs facilities funded by Canada, and the right to share toll revenue after Canada's investment was recovered, all without contributing initial capital. That arrangement is what Trump characterized in February as Canada owning the bridge and collecting all the revenue. Although we would all like the Gordie Howe Bridge to open, Canada need not fall on bent knee to make it happen. Get us a great trade deal, Carney. Dilkins wrote in a statement shared on social media later Thursday morning. The Windsor mayor, the Canadian official with the most direct stake in the opening, has consistently stated that no deal is preferable to a bad deal and that Canada should not trade away contractual rights it already holds in exchange for permission to open infrastructure it already owns. The president...
You know, sometimes democracy is crazy, right? It's easy to think it's better than autocracy, but this is where the capitalist part of it comes in. I was talking more of capitalism than socialism. You think that, yeah, everything is just public, everybody have the right to do their stuff. No, people are in the background actively bending the rules, right? If they have a family that is actively trying to prevent a bridge from being constructed so people depend only on their bridge, is just smacking.
It's just so selfish.
It's selfish, right? Because this is a place that exchanges millions of people and billions of dollars worth of goods in a day. And somebody thinks, well, yeah, that should depend on me. How about you focus on improving your own services or your own product than preventing another person's? That is why we call capitalism. That's competition, not try to eliminate people and deal
Yes.
with monopoly.
By blocking people and still maintaining.
Yeah, poor quality of goods.
Increase your quality and let the others grow.
Yeah. So it knows that people have options now. How about that? Let's go.
It already holds in exchange for permission to open infrastructure it already owns. The president of the Ontario Trucking Association, Stephen Laskowski, described the delay's commercial impact directly. I think moving forward, we're hoping whatever the issues are that's holding this back, they're moved aside, and these delays unleash the reality of a piece of infrastructure that allows Canadian and US businesses to thrive. Commercial trucking companies on both sides of the border are continuing to pay Ambassador Bridge toll rates, while the lower cost alternative they were preparing to use remains closed with no announced opening date. The broader commercial consequence of the delay extends beyond Windsor and Detroit into the manufacturing corridors of Ontario and Michigan that depend on the Windsor-Detroit crossing's total capacity. The Ambassador Bridge is 90, 7 years old, and physically deteriorating. Chunks of the structure regularly fall off, causing lane reductions on the bridge deck and street closings below in Windsor. An expressway running across southern Ontario ends on the outskirts of Windsor, forcing commercial trucks to navigate a slow, congested local road route to reach the Ambassador's approach. The Gordie Howe Bridge eliminates that bottleneck entirely. Connecting directly to Highway 401 on the Canadian side and Interstate 75 on the American side, purpose-built highway connections that bypass Windsor's surface streets entirely and reduce crossing time by an estimated 20 minutes per trip.
Crossing time by estimate. Is it an AI? I thought it was a person narrating, but that kind of. I heard something like 90, is it 97 years old. Which was crazy. Anyways, this guys, the Gordie Howe Bridge needs to open, Anything we do on this channel
The thing that there's no date set for it as of now.
is crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I mean, that kind of a thing should already be having a date. If it means you have to postpone it, don't just keep people guessing. Get it.
Yeah. Anyways,
So it's really
all,
tight.
all we do on this channel is give our own opinion. Of course, we are
Cannot do
neither
anything.
representatives of the US or Canada. Nobody knows us, of course, but that's our own opinion. Of course, you have a very big right to have your own opinion. We are very big believers in free speech. Though we live in our authoritarian country, we believe that you have a free right to say whatever you want to say without defaming anybody, right? You can speak up, and if we say anything contrary to your own belief and own opinion, yeah, we do not apologize for that. You have a right to have your own opinion and think it your own way. And we also apologize if we assume or said something wrong, which is, but if we said something true, then that's our own opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, family.
We love you.
Samai.